The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions, and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
You're live.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sports Insider. I am your host, Glenn Spillman, coming to you live from the Raven's Nest Winery in the foothills of Lake Tahoe up here in a nice little winter storm. So if you hear a little hustle and bustle in the background, they're actually having a wine party on the other side of these walls. So I'm sitting here with a nice glass of hot coffee and some water, and no one's brought me any wine yet. But anyways, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who want to call in, the number is 1-800-508-5431. Again, that number is 800-508-5431. Let's do some sports talk. I would normally say coming to you live from sunny California, but we've been having some snowstorms lately. I was actually watching the news, and it snowed in Los Angeles, Malibu, Hollywood Hills, Burbank. And when I say snow, I don't mean just a little bit of trickle. I'm talking inches of snow. So the palm trees are weighed heavy down with snow. It's actually pretty cool. People are not knowing what to do. It's kind of crazy out there. But anyway, let's get to some Boston breaking news, shall we? Now, this before I do that, I got to give a shout out to Armed Radio. I don't like doing it in the middle of the show. We're live on Armed Radio here and around the world. If you want to listen to the show, you can listen on Armed Radio. Go to TuneIn, actually. Go to TuneIn.com, search Armed Radio. It's a little yellow icon. And for those of you that have my personal number, I just got a text. Someone says, give me the call-in number. I lost my phone. All right, so we're going to give this person the call-in number, and hopefully they can get through. 5431 here. You can go to TuneIn, listen on Armed Radio. And for those of you that missed the show, you can go to Spreaker.com, search Armed Radio or Sports Insider, bam. Also, you can go to armedradioglobal.com and check out all the other shows that they got on there. They got some really great shows during the week, some awesome ones. during the weekend. Now, whoo, Robert Kraft. Naughty, naughty little boy. Robert Kraft has got himself in a little bit of hot water. Robert Kraft, as you know, for those of you who don't know, is the owner of the New England Patriots, the football team who just won the World Series, freaking baseball. It's Boston freaking Red Sox. Who just won the Super Bowl. Now, he was charged today with 2 counts of soliciting sex from a prostitute in Jupiter, Florida. Okay, there's more to the story than just him soliciting sex. Now, he's 77 years old and was a part of a broad investigation into prostitution and human trafficking in day spas and parlors in Florida. Well, let me give you a little bit of news. Most of your massage parlors, whether they're in Florida, Colorado, here in California, Boston, Mass., wherever they are, most of them, and when I say most, I'm talking at least 80%. They're basic, more or less prostitution fronts. Now you can go in there, you can pay your $45 for 30 minutes, pay an extra $40 for a nice little happy ending. And if you want the full Monty from the massage therapist, you slip them $100 and you get to go to town on them until your time is done, and boom, there's your massage, which I guess technically is a massage, but anyway, that's what most of these massage parlors are, and it's not just in Jupiter, Florida, but all around the United States, all around the globe, really. Now, human trafficking in this day spa, the parlors were used for prostitution, and many of the women involved were considered to be victims. Now, that's according to the police report, and I am reading off the police report. Now, these women that are victims that are doing the massages are actually being forced to do the massages, and usually when a guy goes in there, they will ask, hey, will you do this? Or hey, will you do that? Or hey, do you guys do this? You know, that's what happened with Mr. Kraft here. Multiple law enforcement agencies were doing raids and arrested, connected to nearly a dozen businesses in the region. A dozen businesses just in that particular region. Now, there's at least one person, her name is Lanyan Ma. She's 49 years old, and she was charged with human trafficking, and more than 24 men ranging from age 34 to 81 have been arrested. So, and Robert Kraft, naughty little boy, was one of them. All of these sexual encounters have resulted in charges were videotaped as part of the investigation. So, when Mr. Kraft says, I unequivocally deny these charges, well, sir, you are caught on videotape, and there's nothing that you could say to get yourself out of that one. So, some police that have been investigating massage parlors for 6 months charged nearly 200 people, through only a fraction have been arrested so far. Only a fraction of 200 people. Maybe it's these dozen. Now, not Mr. Kraft himself, but he did say it, but a spokesperson for Mr. Kraft released a statement, and the Patriots released a statement, and I quote, "We categorically deny that Mr. Kraft engaged in any illegal activity because it is a judicial matter. We will not be commenting any further," end quote. Well, allow me to retort. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be more than willing to talk about this. And if you guys want to call 1-800-508-5431, I will talk to you. We'll talk about the whole freaking show on this matter. Now, you can deny it all you want. Now listen to the words, though. In a quote, though, it's all about the wording. Engaged in any illegal activity. Well, maybe they consider illegal activity sex, or maybe a hand job or something like that. Okay? Maybe not that did or did not happen. But when you solicit a prostitute for services, that's your ass right there. You're done. You solicited. That's all you got to do. So, but I don't think a spokesperson's going to come out and be like, "Yeah, we did it. My bad, dog." So, Mr. Kraft, he patronized a spa called Orchids of Asia in Jupiter, a small storefront business in a strip mall. Most of these, you can drive down where I live in the Sacramento area. You can drive down any street and you see strip malls and you see massage therapy or whatever on there. Massage this, massage that. And they're in almost every strip mall. They're next to pizza parlors. They're next to pubs. They're next to banks. They're next to Goodwills. Now, this particular one, and I have a picture of it, this particular one says massage therapy, table shower, body treatments, and facial treatments, and waxing. Now, the dead giveaway is a table shower. Now, what happens on the table shower is you go in here, and you go to the table shower, you strip down naked, you lay on this table, and they give you a shower manually, and there's your table shower. Now, if the producers are listening to the show, which I know they are, I have a person that just texted me and said, I had 8 people call. They all said that the number goes to voicemail. So, if we can get the phone fixed, that would be most awesome, because I want to talk to these people about this, about any other question that they have, or they just getting a flood of phone calls right now and just everything's going and busy and going to voicemail. So, the police said that Mr. Kraft visited twice and was dropped off by a driver. So, again, when you go, and if you want to go to a legitimate massage parlor, you go to Massage Envy or Massage Heights or something like that. Those are legitimate. I haven't heard anything about those massage parlors. Whenever you get anything called the Orchids of Asia or Orchids or Butterfly Spa or Happy One Spa or anything like that, you know you're getting into some shenanigans. When the storefront windows are completely blacked out and you got to buzz a buzzer to get in, that's a dead giveaway right there that you're going to have happy, you know? So, again, for those of you who want to talk about this, 1-800-508-5431, Sports Insider on Armed Radio. My name is Glenn Spillman, and I am your host. Call me up. Let's discuss this. Now, for 5 days, and this was back in January 18th, the police monitored the video, said they observed approximately 26 men receiving manual or oral stimulation during massage sessions. So somebody put cameras up in that place. Now, again, Mr. Kraft, just won the Super Bowl. You're high on life, and you are a multi, if not a billionaire. You got to go to a little massage parlor, Jupiter, Florida, get your rocks off. That is sad. Another dent, another chink in the armor of the New England Patriots. It's a sad thing, and I really don't know what else to say on this. We've been talking about it for about 15 minutes now. So, anyway, I am done with that story. Again, for those of you who want to call, 508-5431. Keep calling. You will get through. That's what I'm telling everybody on my social media. That's what I'm telling everybody that's listening. Keep calling. All right, we're going to go through the menagerie of sports here. We're going to start off with baseball. Manny Machado, 10 years, $300 million. And, well, he signed with the San Diego Padres. Now, first off, you're never going to win a ring in San Diego. Sorry. They just don't have the players to do it as of now. Now, I could be talking a different story a few months from now, but right now, they've got Machado. Machado is going to put butts in the seats, but he's going where the money is. And you know what? I can't really blame him because it's a business. Sports is a business, whether it's football, baseball, hockey, basketball, whatever. On any level, NCAA or pro, it is a business. So if the LA Dodgers, say, offered him $225, $250, they're legitimate contenders for a World Series. They've been to the path too. Machado turned down all these offers, took $300 million from the San Diego Padres. Now, I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I used to live in San Diego, California. I used to be stationed on 32nd Street when I was in the military. And I must say that San Diego is the Garden of Eden of the United States of America. And excuse the sniffles, everyone. I've got a little bit of a cold, so I do apologize for that. It's the Garden of Eden of the United States. Perfect weather year-round. Even when it's snowing in Los Angeles, it's still nice, bright and shiny, and Dejas, as I like to call it. You got beautiful people, you got beautiful beaches, you got awesome golf courses, you got beautiful weather, you've got anything and everything that you could possibly want in San Diego. And this guy just got 300 million reasons as to why he should go to San Diego. Is he going to win there? Nope. Is he going to win with money? Yep. And here, now let's talk a little bit about players who are worth that much money. Now, most people will be like, there's nobody worth that much money. LeBron James shouldn't be getting, the high 20s, millions of dollars every year. Kobe Bryant shouldn't have got what he got and all this stuff. Let me tell you why. Now, if you worked for a company, let's just call it Company X, and you worked for a company, and you made that company, you were one of the facilitators that made that company $100 million a year. Okay? Let's just call it $100 million. But your salary was only $50,000 a year. But you were responsible directly, and you were one of the head people for $100 million. Well, don't you think as a business person that you would ask for more money per year? $200,000 a year? $150,000 a year? Of course you would. Because you are a commodity that is gaining capital for this company. So a player like Manny Machado puts butts in the seats. Now, when you get ballpark, let's just say a round number of 40,000, you get a player like Manny Machado, people are going to come to watch him play. when other baseball teams comes to your ballpark, you now get to charge more money per ticket now that you've got a player like Manny Machado on your team. When you have sales on the baseball jerseys, that's Manny Machado, he should get a piece of the pie. When you've got people coming to the ballpark, spending their money on beer, on soft drinks, on food, on tickets, on jerseys, on hats, on memorabilia, etc., etc., etc. That's where the multi tens of millions of dollars comes into play. That's how they could justify giving Manny Machado $30 million a year. That's how Manny Machado say, hey, I'm going to be coming to your organization and I'm going to be bringing in all of this money, all of this revenue. I need to be compensated. I cannot fault him. And I believe his agent is Drew Rosenhaus. And that guy is a bulldog when it comes to baseball negotiations. Now, so when people say that player's not worth that much money, I'm sorry, but, when you're bringing a team tens of millions of dollars, you need to get a slice of that pie, and that's exactly what Manny did. I can't fault him for that. I'd want to play in San Diego too, but he's just going up the road about an hour and 15 minutes because he was in LA. So for those of you that listen to the show, you know that I'm a betting man. I like to bet. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not out of control about it, but I like to bet. And I like to look at certain odds, and I like to look at certain things when it comes to betting. Now, the Westgate Las Vegas Superbook has posted the New York Yankees, not the Boston Red Sox, but the New York Yankees as minus 125 favorites to win the LA East, while the Boston Red Sox carry plus 140 odds. So, and here is a quote from the Superbook. In baseball and sports in general, it is just natural for a team that had a season like the Red Sox had to regress a little bit. Play a lot more games when you make it to the World Series, and we've seen it in the past where teams start slowly in the next season, end quote. Now, that is true. You play all of these games, but you know what? You also get rest. But I digress. You play all these games. There's injuries. There's putting your body through a lot, and it has been shown over the years that the team that won the World Series prior kind of regresses a little bit in the next year. So you got spring training upon us. So all you baseball fans out there, what do you think about spring training? I mean, I know spring training is glorified practice, but the good thing about spring training is it's for the fans. This is an opportunity for the fans to get closer to the players, to get autographs, maybe to have a small little conversation, and to get up close and personal with the players. So, and I believe Saturday, tomorrow, the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox play. I don't exactly know what time yet. I'll check that here in a couple of minutes. Matter of fact, screw that. I'll just check it right now. 10:05 a.m. Pacific time, so 1 o'clock Eastern time. New York Yankees face off against the Boston Red Sox. All right, so 1 year. Let's see what year we in. 2019. I think it was 2015, so it was like 4 years ago. Might have even been 5 years ago. Whatever. I went and I took 1 week and I went to every single ballpark in the state of California. I started off in Oakland. I went to an A's game. Then I went to a Giants game. I went to a Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim game. Then I went to San Diego, went to San Diego Padres, and then I came back to LA and went to a Dodger game because that's just how the schedule worked out. I couldn't get a Dodger game concurrent when I was in Anaheim. I went to every single ballpark in the state of California, and they all had different foods. And every ballpark across the United States and Canada has different foods. Some outlandish foods is one of them. I think is outlandish. Is you have a Krispy Kreme donut burger. So you get a Krispy Kreme donut, cut it in half. You put your lettuce, tomatoes, mustard, onions, relish, cheese, your burger patty, and you eat that bad boy. First off, I have never tried one, but that just sounds disgusting. That just sounds freaking disgusting. But there's been people out there that love it. There's a lot of ballparks out there that sell a lot of it. And so what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to go to a few ballparks. And I'm going to go and I'm going to find their most extreme food item. And I'm going to talk about it on the show. For those of you still trying to call in, 1-800-508-5431. You are listening to Sports Insider on Armed Radio. I am Glenn Spillman, your host. And one of the, in the AAA Sacramento River Cats, so the AAA baseball team for the San Francisco Giants, one of their, I would say, outlandish food items is called the Dinger Dog. I call it the horse's cock because that's about how big it is. It is about 10 inches long, and it's huge. It's big around. It is absolutely freaking huge. And I think it's like $9, but you get it's a big old bun, and they put whatever you want on it, and it's worth the $9. Or you know what? Maybe it's not $9 anymore. Maybe it's more like 11 or 12. But anyway, I don't care if it was $12. You're getting your money's worth on that one. People are still texting me saying that they can't get through, and I know that's the right number, 1-800-508-5431. They're asking what time. Go on. All right. So, we'll be talking about some outlandish food throughout the summer. So Major League Baseball is putting new rules in place this season to guard against high-tech sign stealing. And, which, you know what, that's just part of the game. You know, I have no qualms about it. If you're going to be doing all these signs and if someone wants to try and figure them out, that's part of the game. That's part of the fun. So what? I mean, after several incidents of the alleged stealing of catcher signs last season, including during a postseason, Commissioner Rob Manfred had promised to have new directives in place this year to curtail the practice. Blah, blah, freaking blah. If you're gonna do signs, they're going to get figured out, plain and simple. It's not cheating, in my personal opinion. It is not cheating, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. So if people want to do it, hey man, cheers to you. Now, let's move on to the NBA. We're going to go over some of our West Coast standings. Now, Boston, real quick, sits at number 5 in the East, so they're golden for the playoffs. They're 37-22. And they lost their last game. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Two teams I'm more concerned about. Well, you got the hometown Sacramento Kings. I'm not really a Kings fan, but I will root for them since that is a hometown team. But for my hometown, LA, Los Angeles Lakers, they edged a game last night they beat the Rockets. They're now sitting at 500 at 29-29, whereas the Sacramento Kings sit at 30-28. Now, the magic number, I think, is going to be 42-45 get into the playoffs. So you've got at 1, you've got Golden State, Denver Nuggets at number 2, Oklahoma City at number 3, Portland Trailblazers at number 4, Houston Rockets 5, Utah Jazz 6, San Antonio Spurs 7, and the last spot is the LA Clippers. Now, the LA Lakers are only a couple of games behind that spot, and the Kings are 2 games behind that spot. And again, I say, got to go 42, 45 games if you want to jump in the playoffs. So, I mean, you have to understand that the LA Lakers have LeBron James. LeBron James have been known to put the team on his back, and this is a quote from Mr. James, and I quote, "It's been activated." Meaning, I don't know what he means, but this is what I think he means. He has been activated. Now he's going to step it up, and he's going to get more intense, and he's going to get his team on his back, and he's going to take him to the promised land. That's what I think what that means. Speaking still on the Lakers, what players do I think that they can get next year? Well, I still think that they can get Anthony Davis. That would be a good addition. Kevin Durant would be a good addition. They need another star to put with LeBron James that's going to take the pressure off of LeBron James, and that's going to gain the attitudes of these young players to a more positive realm. People are still texting me saying, "Okay, I still get voicemail. I left a message." So, folks, don't quit trying to call 1-800-508-5431. Keep trying, and we'll see if we can get you through. I hope we can get you through. This is the second week in a row this has been going on, but again, it could be because I don't know what it could be. So, keeping on with the NBA, former NBA player Glenn Big Baby Davis has agreed to pay $15,000 to avoid jail times on drug charges. Now, several news outlets, they report that the forward faced up to 5 years in jail. He was arrested at Maryland Hotel with 126 grams, 4 ounces of marijuana, and a briefcase containing $92,000 last February, and indicted on 7 counts of drugs possession and distribution. Well, if you were in California, brother, it would be no big deal. No big deal whatsoever. You know what? Yeah, let me tell you a funny story. I go for walks quite a bit, and on the side of the road, today's Friday, I was walking down the side of the road, and I found a bag of marijuana. When I say a bag of marijuana, I don't mean little sandwich bag, or I found a black garbage bag full of freaking marijuana. Full of marijuana. So if he was in California, there would be absolutely, they would have been like, no big deal. I mean, 4 ounces. I mean, heck, you can go to the dispensaries, and I think it's either 1 or 2 ounces a day that you could buy. I mean, there are some, if you have your card on you, I mean, heck, you can have several ounces on you. I mean, you can grow, I think, 12 to 16 plants if you have your medical card. I mean, $45, you got your medical card. But anyway, Davis's attorney, Brandon Mead, says prosecutors will dismiss the charges after Davis pays the fine. So Mead says nothing that indicates Davis was selling drugs, which if he was selling marijuana, then he's freaking desperate. He's 33 years old. He was a star player at LSU, and he also played for the beloved Boston Celtics, Orlando Magic, and the Los Angeles Clippers. And he last played in the NBA in 2015. Again, I mean, these guys that go around, I don't know how he got caught. I don't know if he was flashing around money or just mouthing off or whatever, but he needs to, I don't know, man, that's just stupid. He needs to chill and just quit being so freaking stupid. Alright, NFL. We are moving right along. Antonio Brown and the Steelers decide to move on, say goodbye, sayonara, Auf Wiedersehen, peace out, brother. And Brown tweeted, and I quote, "Had a great meeting with Mr. Rooney today. We discussed a lot of things, and we cleared the air on several issues. We both agreed that it is time to move on, but I'll always have appreciation and gratitude towards the Rooney family and Steelers organization." End quote. Hashtag call God, hashtag boomin'. Well, I don't know what call God is for, unless he's going to call God for his agent. Haven't a clue on that one. But Antonio Brown, kind of a cancer for the Steelers anyway, in my opinion. And I'm sure in several other people's opinion on that aspect. But you know what? It is what it is. He is gone without brother. Now, for those of you who listen to the show also know that I'm an Oakland Raiders fan. Oakland Raider fan. Not a Las Vegas Raider fan. When the Raiders bounce, I'm going to become an LA Rams fan. Maybe even a Cowboys fan. Not sure yet. Don't know. But I'm digging into I'm always interested in little nuggets and little tidbits and little things here and there. Their stadium is going to cost $1.8 billion. $1.8 billion. It looks pretty sweet. It seats 65,000, but expandable to 72,000 people, which begs the question: where are the Raiders going to play this year? Where, oh where, Johnny boy, are you going to play this year? Don't know. They were talking about, still going back to Oakland Coliseum and here in the stadium with the Oakland A's. They're talking about Santa Clara with the 49ers and all this kind of stuff. I don't know where they're going to end up. It's a flip of a coin, and it's a mystery to me. But wherever it is, I may or may not go and see them one last time. So now let's move on to NCAA basketball. Now, 1 week from today, is March 1st. And what happens in March, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats and little mice? March Madness. One of my favorite times of year because you have absolutely chaos in March Madness, and you can have a number 16 seed a number 1 seed. I've seen that done several times, and it is just absolutely crazy as to the things that happen in March Madness. Now, speaking of which, let's go and talk about the Duke, North Carolina game that happened. And before I get to that, I'm gonna go ahead and do. I'm gonna go ahead and do the game. We'll talk about the shoe debacle here in a moment. The Duke versus Tar Heels rivalry is absolutely freaking ridiculous, and I believe they're only 8 miles apart. But the rivalry is just crazy. Obama was at the game. A lot of star power was at the game watching this cat, Zion Williamson, play basketball. Well, they didn't get to watch him too long. Now, here are the ticket prices for the game that just happened a couple of days ago. And I'm not talking, these are like Super Bowl prices, folks. You've got the most expensive ticket was $10,561 for the most expensive ticket. The cheapest ticket was $2,354 for the cheapest one. And they all wanted to see the number one going to be number one pick, Zion Williamson. Well, they only got to see him for less than a minute because he was dribbling, went to pivot, and bam, his shoe blew out. When I say blew out, the thing split in half horizontally. And his left foot, came out of the shoe, and he tweaked his right knee. It's a knee sprain. Now, here's the funny thing. Most of the shoes, 90% of the clothing and shoes in sports, no matter what sport it is, 90% of the clothing line is from Nike. Okay? So Nike is Nike. They brag about their quality. They brag about, how good you could be if you wear their gear. And this thing blew like a dollar store freaking cheap freaking Walmart shoe. Funny thing is, and again, me being the investigative little guy that I am, I wanted to see what was up with the stocks and everything like that. Now, Nike, their stock, the very next day, lost over $1 billion. That's what they B as in boy. Over $1 billion that Nike lost. Now Nike comes out and they say, well, our bad. This is an isolated incident. This isn't what we represent. This isn't the quality of our stuff. This, that, and the other thing. Well, if you go and you look at the video, you will see how easily this shoe fell apart. And it's just comical, to say the least. Moving on, Purdue superfan Tyler Trent, who died early January from a rare form of bone cancer, was honored Tuesday by a fellow Boilermaker who completed nearly 100-mile walk from West Lafayette, Indiana to Bloomington for the team's game against the rival Indiana Hoosiers. This cat raised more than $20,000 in the process. How freaking cool is that? I mean, it's sad that Tyler had to pass, but for a fellow Boilermaker who made nearly 100 miles, he didn't drive, he didn't take a bus, he didn't take an Uber, he didn't hitchhike, he walked 100 miles. Now, it usually takes between 12 and 15 minutes, depending on how fast that you walk. 12 and 20 minutes, actually. If you're walking slow or if you're walking fast, to walk a mile. let's just say it takes, and he was just chilling, walking. Let's just say it took 20 minutes. 20 times 100. Do the math. Figure out how much it is. But, I mean, I just thought it was cool when I saw that. Speaking of Williamson, the DraftKings opened up the odds on the player to be picked first in the 2019 draft in the past week, with Williamson as the overwhelming favorite at minus 2,000 odds. So, if you would bet $20, you would win $1. You would win 4 quarters, 10 dimes, 20 nickels, 100 pennies, a $1 bill on a $20 bet. So, do the math on that. You'd have to spend $2,000 to win $100. So if you want to bet and make some money, you're going to have to drop some serious cash. So now the draft in the NBA is not like it is in the NFL. NFL, the suckiest freaking team all year, gets the number 1 overall draft. But you could win the championship, and it depends on how the lottery is picked and how those balls bounce. You could have the best record in the league and still get the number 1 overall draft pick. So that's how that works. And for those of you still trying to call in, you're listening to Sports Insider on Armed Radio, 1-800-508-5431. Again, that is 1-800-508-5431. Let's move to MMA, shall we? Seems like we always end the show with MMA. We got about, 9 or 10 minutes left on the show. Georges St-Pierre, which I arguably think, my opinion, that he is the greatest mixed martial arts fighter of all time. Better than Hoist Gracie, better than Kent Shamrock, better than Chuck Liddell, better than Tito Ortiz, better than all these old-timer guys. Georges St-Pierre, to me, is the best mixed martial artist of all time. Is set to retire. Now, he was supposed to fight lightweight champion Khabib, and as a last-ditch effort to get St. Pierre to reconsider. Dangling the fish in front of the whale, saying, hey, let's have one more super fight, and let's get you paid. But there are sources that confirm that St. Pierre will announce his retirement at a news conference. So, I mean, I hope he does. I mean, the guy's 37 years old. I mean, he had hoped to secure a fight, later this year, but, Khabib got himself in trouble, got suspended for 9 months, but the deal wasn't materializing. So the longtime welterweight champion decided to say, peace out, time to walk away. I'm going to take my crackers and go home. Chris Cyborg, which is debatable whether it's female or male. I mean, the chick's taking so many steroids. I mean, she looks like a dude. Chris Cyborg is one of the most dominant female fighters in MMA history, although not in her last couple fights she has been that dominant. So she has 1 fight left on her deal with UFC. 1. So there's been some people that have questioned whether she will return to the UFC. But, I mean, Cyborg has voiced in her own opinion that her displeasure, the lack of promotion in her bouts in the past. So she feels that the UFC is not promoting her fights well enough, good enough to her satisfaction. So the future of the featherweight division is also uncertain at this time. But, according to her agent, Adi Attar, Cyborg is interested in a new deal and hopes to fight in her hometown of Curitiba, Brazil, in May at UFC 37. And here is a quote, and I quote, "The hopes are that we can get a new deal done with the UFC but time will tell on whether that is achievable or not. We haven't received any official fight offer, but she will love to fight in her hometown. We've had some soft discussions about her next fight and her future. She'd love to fight for the UFC. End quote. Well, if you want to fight for the UFC, Chris Cyborg, get your butt in the freaking octagon and fight. Don't worry about your little narcissism. Be like, well, they're not promoting me good enough. Well, they're not, jerking my chain good enough. They're not doing this good enough. They're not doing that good enough. Wah, freaking wah, freaking wah. Get in there and fight. Dominate the freaking fight. Win a freaking fight. And then maybe, just maybe, your narcissism will be fed. Okay? Another fighter, Nick Diaz. He's a former UFC welterweight title challenger, has not fought since January 2015 because he liked to smoke weed. He got in trouble. He screwed up a piss test, and Dana White crucified him. Now, don't worry about other people that smoke weed. Dana White will turn his head on that one. But he crucified Nick Diaz, which is completely legal to smoke weed here in California. But that doesn't really freaking matter to Dana White. And a lot of fans want to see him return, but they shouldn't get their hopes up. Here's a quote from Mr. Nick Diaz, and I quote, "I'm no role model. I'm 35 years old, but I definitely wouldn't advise anybody to take a fight for less than their worth or fight for free, which is practically what I would be doing at this point in taking a fight with some of these guys that are not on my level. Nor would I be within my moral ethics to even do that aside from you not painting me as a role model. If there was an offer I couldn't refuse, things would be different." End quote. Well, I personally like to see Diaz fight again in the octagon, and I hope that 4 years it's been. I think with all the shenanigans that Dana White has allowed in the UFC over the past couple of years with Conor McGregor, just Conor McGregor alone, with all the shenanigans that boy has done, I think Dana White should give freaking Diaz another chance and bring Diaz to the octagon. Speaking of the octagon, for those of you who want to watch some good fights tomorrow, Saturday, February 23rd, it starts at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. 11, that's 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Check out UFC Fight Night, and you get some good fights there. And folks, I want to remind everybody that Sports Insider is on every single Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Go to tunein.com. Search Armed Radio, boom, listen to it live. If you missed the show or missed any of my shows, you can go to Spreaker.com, search Sports Insider, bam, my picture will pop up. It'll say Sports Insider with Glenn Spillman, and you can listen to my archive shows. They got a few of them up there right now. They've got an encore one from January 31st. They've got February 9th, February 16th. Tonight's show will be on here probably tomorrow, maybe the next day. I'm not exactly sure how fast these guys get them up. You can download the shows, so wherever you're at, you're chilling out in the airport getting ready to go travel somewhere, you can download the show, listen to it anytime. You can listen to it in your car, on tunein.com. And again, write this number down. 1-800-508-8255. 5431. And if it goes straight to voicemail, leave a message. Give them your name and phone number. Ask them why that you couldn't call in tonight to talk to me about sports and all this stuff going on. But anyway, I digress. But we'll get this phone situation figured out, and we'll get it all taken care of. But again, Sports Insider every Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And go to orangeradioglobal.com for anyone that wants to listen to any show. I don't care if it's about food. I don't care if it's about rock and roll. I don't care what it's about. You guys can go listen to Pot Talk, the show that's before me. Listen to Pot Talk. And politically offensive talk. And that's a pretty sweet show. You can listen to Nighttime with Joe Rocks. Listen to all that. But again, write this number down, 800-508-5431. It was a pleasure talking to you guys tonight about sports. Have a great weekend. No matter where you are, if you're around the cold, stay warm. Have a glass of wine. Peace out.